What's going on, everybody? Curtis Wilkerson here with Inside Arkansas on the Pod at the Palace, coming to you with another episode of the Hoop Hogs video mailbag from Birmingham. Again, that's right, we're still out here at SEC Media Day, and here I am walking down the streets of downtown Birmingham. People are probably thinking I'm crazy, but man, we have been just locked in all day out here at SEC Media Day. Talking to different players, talking to John Calipari, talking to Duthiero and Nelly Davis has been a lot of fun, a ton of fun. I got a headache. I had to walk around, and this is just the last thing that we have to do today. It's Tuesday. You guys will be seeing this on Wednesday morning before Greg Sankey's buying everybody drinks. Drinks on Sankey. Okay, so for anybody who has anything to say about him as the SEC commish, this I appreciate. Nice little reception they're doing for the media members. For this mailbag, I've been saving this one a little bit strategically. It comes from Chris Dees, and the question that he was asking was essentially, who is really embracing the hog, right? Between John Calipari and Eric Musselman, who stood out in that regard? Who maybe has taken the culture, the tradition of Arkansas more seriously? And the first thing I'll say, I got to give a lot of credit to Eric Musselman. He caught a stray today from Jackson Robinson. He absolutely did. Where Bob Holt was doing his thing. He said, "Hey, did you learn anything from Eric Musselman?" He just pretty much said, "Look, dude, I don't want to talk about my. It's not. I'm good." Yeah, whatever. Eric Musselman did a great job for Arkansas, and he brought the red-white game back to Barnhill. Chris, you mentioned that. He embraced Arkansas and the job. He was never going to be here forever, but you can't discredit the things that he did for the program, getting it back on track. He was a good ambassador for what he had going on. Him, Miss Danielle, everybody. I don't have a bad thing to say about Eric Musselman, but what I will say is I'm very, very impressed with the way John Calipari has come into this job. He hasn't made it about himself, and he really, truly has embraced all the things that you were hoping that he would. It means something to him. He understands the tradition of the program, and he wants to embody it, and he wants to leave Arkansas in a better spot than it was when he took over, when the next guy comes in. And I like the things he says about it. It's bigger than the job. You got to respect the position. And he's getting these guys out to the state. We've been traveling. They did the tip-off tour in Hot Springs. We were in Pine Bluff. Now we're here in Birmingham. And the first question he was asked at the podium was about, why did you leave Kentucky? And that was an opportunity for him to say any number of things. But I loved his response. And I think if you're a Razorback fan, you should really appreciate this, because what did he say? He said, "Listen, I've talked about that, man. I've talked about it at length. What I want to talk about right now is the strength and the depth of the SEC. I'm going to talk about my team. I want to talk about my roster. I want to talk about Arkansas." And he's excited about what the Razorbacks have going on. And it's twofold. He's excited about the roster he's put together, the potential of this group, the excitement of the fresh start. And then he's also very proud of the things that they're doing in terms of reaching out to the state. He's so happy with the turnout for this tip-off tour. And I understand that those buildings weren't full. But how could you expect that? 12 days advance notice. Yeah, the tickets were a little steep, but the reason why is because of the things they were doing. This wasn't a red-white game. It was getting out. It was doing the Good Samaritans thing with the feet. It was passing out shoes. It was making other parts of the state who can't just up and drive to Fayetteville and go to a game feel involved, feel like they are part of the program. And so if you want to know how he's been embracing things, that's exactly how he's been doing it. I give John Calipari an A+ in that regard so far. I'm also going to use this as just an opportunity to talk a little about SEC Media Day. Yeah, the hot topic, the buzz, it was John Calipari at Arkansas, and it was Mark Pope to Kentucky. Tons of questions about that, and rightfully so. Everybody had good things to say about Coach Cal. Everybody had good things to say about Mark Pope. The two had good things to say about each other, which is about what you'd expect. You would like to think that maybe, just maybe, that narrative can be laid to rest now, and we can start focusing on the actual basketball. Some really good conversations. Got to talk to Zakai Ziegler and Jemai Meshack, two Tennessee players who were former teammates of Jonas Adu, who were excited to play against him again. Was hoping to get some good quotes from those guys, and I did. Loved it from Zakai Ziegler. He said, "Listen, that's my brother. Still love him. Off the court, when I tore my ACL, he was the guy who was always there for me. But, when we get between the lines, we're ready to mix it up." You love that. That's going to be an exciting game. January 4th at Tennessee to open the SEC season. John Calipari's first SEC game at Arkansas. Going to be an absolute blast. Talked to Elijah Martin, Florida guard, who's been in a Final Four with Nelly Davis. A Final Four and another NCAA tournament. These are guys who've been through absolute wars together, and now they're going to play against each other Is it weird? Of course it's weird. Are both those guys super competitors? Yes, they are. It was hilarious to me because I asked about like the one-on-ones, the battles that they had in practice, who got the best of those, and Elijah Martin was like, you know, it probably just depends on the day. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to ask Nelly Davis the same question, and we'll see if he gives me the same answer. So I said, hey, Nelly, when you had the one-on-one battles with Elijah Martin at FAU, who was getting the best of those? He's like, me. What do you mean? It was almost like I was crazy for asking the question. So it was pretty funny, pretty hilarious, good to see. And the other interesting thing that I'll tell you guys, one of my bigger takeaways is Texas and Oklahoma are officially members of the SEC, so they were represented here at Media Day today. That's not it. The true takeaway is that nobody cares. Nobody cares. The Texas guys, they did a good job, but there wasn't a big storyline, a big splash, nothing like that about them. Oklahoma, poor Porter Mosier was just hanging out there in the lunchroom by himself, walking around for 20 minutes. I felt bad. I almost thought I needed to go talk to the dude. He's like a lost puppy in there. So many things have gone on in this league that you have a situation where you have big brands like Texas and Oklahoma coming into the league. Nobody cares. There are about 10 other things that you could have talked about that were probably more important or just a more attractive storyline to people here. The SEC is loaded. Everybody understands that. You got 9 teams ranked in the preseason AP Top 25. That is absolutely absurd. That's more than SEC football had. And a few people were asked that question, like, hey, do you rub it in with the coach at your football program? They asked Mike White at Georgia, like, hey, are you giving Kirby Smart some trouble? Just ribbing him a little bit because the SEC basketball has more teams in. He's not doing that, and Georgia's not one of the teams that's ranked in there anyway, so he can't say a damn thing. But it's always such a good time to come out here, rub elbows with other media members. And, you know, Eric Musselman, there was always just a level of excitement about him when he was down here because he's a good quote. He's such an eccentric guy. People think of him as a dude who throws his shirt off or whatever, but it was just different with John Calipari here for Arkansas. He didn't want to be here. He said he took a COVID test yesterday, almost hoping that he would have COVID, that way he wouldn't have to come. And that kind of tracks with what he said Sunday in Pine Bluff, which was, I have to go to Birmingham. I don't want to go to Birmingham. I just don't want to get fined. Not his deal, not his jam, but he did a great job, and the cameras are following that dude around everywhere. And he handles it like a celebrity, and he kind of is. Still just such a larger than life figure that's at the helm for the Razorbacks now. I don't know if I'm ever going to get used to it. It's kind of crazy, to be completely honest with you guys, but it has been a great experience. I want to encourage everybody to make sure that if you are not subscribed at Inside Arkansas YouTube page, do that. You got to do it. We got so much stuff going on right now over there. We've got interviews with Seth Greenberg, other media personalities who are out here. We've got exclusives with Nelly Davis and Adu Thiero that you really need to check out. We talked to 4 different SEC guards, 4 of the top guards in the SEC about their matchups, their history with DJ Wagner, what they remember about him, what they think about him as a player. We talked to a bunch of guys, talked to not just Tennessee and former teammates, but talked to John Broome from Auburn, an all-SEC big man, about his battles with Jonas Adu. We've gone on and on and on, every angle we could possibly think of, and all that stuff is posted. InsideArkansas.com. You can read about it. Inside Arkansas YouTube page. You can listen to it and watch it. It's been a lot of fun. And then John just did a tremendous job of just kind of going around and capturing the different moments. And he's got some really cool compilations of just the day in general, the vibes, the Arkansas guys as they were moving around, us as we were interviewing folks. It's really cool, and it kind of makes you feel like you were there. For anybody who might have FOMO or just wonder, like, what is the media day experience like? He did that, so go check all that stuff out. But Chris, appreciate your question. Both of those guys have embraced the tradition, the culture, the rich history at Arkansas at a very high level. John Calipari is doing a fantastic job of it right now. And this has been very cool. Always enjoy this experience, and super, super grateful for all of you who've been tuning in, because the numbers have been through the roof, and that's exciting. Not just because we need it, not just because we want success, but because people care, and they care what we're saying, and they like what we're doing, and that makes you feel really, really good, and it motivates you to continue to do more. So we're going to. But I got to get off here because we got to go in and as I check my notes, do a live stream from SEC Media Days before we go to this reception. You guys will be seeing this Wednesday morning, which means Thursday morning, I'll be back again with another episode of the Hoop Hogs Video Mailbag. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. It's been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas on the Pod at the Palace. We will catch you tomorrow. Everybody have a good one.